question. So there's two different categories, in my opinion, about keeping people out of our correctional system. One is avoiding a situation where people commit crimes, and one is changing the way our criminal justice system interacts with people. So when it comes to prevention, early childhood education, violence prevention programs, proper funding of schools, and job creation. Job creation. So what we have in Illinois are communities where there's just been decades and decades and decades of disinvestment. Dollars have been pulled out of the neighborhood for decades. Schools closed, manufacturing plant left town, not-for-profits shuttered, people follow them out, and it's a downward spiral of disinvestment, leading in ultimately a loss of hope. So you need to directly step in as the state to create job opportunities, to spark redevelopment of communities with direct hiring, not with a theory or a job training program, but direct hiring, using the $70+ billion that flow through the state every single year as a tool to shape our economic development based upon the state's most urgent needs. So that's number one. But number two, I think we have to change our criminal justice system and our policing system and our sentencing system massively. So for instance, I am a co-sponsor of Senate Bill 316, which would legalize the recreational use of marijuana. Why is that? It's because the way in which our marijuana laws are applied is fundamentally inequitable. And so there are communities of color that are much, much, much likelier to see young people caught, pursued by the justice system, sometimes even incarcerated, and then have the rest of their lives negatively impacted as a result of that unequal distribution of justice. That's just fundamentally wrong. I also think that we need to be, and this doesn't keep people entirely out of prison necessarily, but it's an important part of the equation. We need to be a lot more smart and thoughtful about sentencing. So if you look at the rise of mass incarceration over the course of the last several decades, what we've done is we've lengthened and lengthened and lengthened sentences. Not just for nonviolent activities that perhaps should not be viewed as criminal in the first place, but for activities that I think we would all agree are criminal, but 2 years of rehabilitative time in the correctional system, as opposed to 20 years, have a completely different impact on someone's trajectory. And these are politically hard conversations to have. They're hard conversations to have because everybody wants to run for office, apparently saying they're tough on crime. But I think it's time for us to be a lot smarter on crime. I think it's time for us to be compassionate about all people. And our justice system right now is not fundamentally designed as though what we care about is making sure that someone who might have done something that we wish they had not done becomes rehabilitated and able to re-enter society with a lower likelihood of behaving the same way. On the contrary, we act in a way that elevates that likelihood. And so, you know, the fundamental thought process that our justice system is designed around needs to get rewritten from the ground up.